A Caribbean regional court has ruled that a St. Kitts and Nevis prohibition on gay sex is unconstitutional because it violates the right to privacy, striking down one of a handful of bans on same-sex intercourse that still exists in the region. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court ruled against the two portions of the offenses against the Person Act adopted in the dual island nation in 1873, which called up for 10 years imprisonment for having or attempting to have gay sex. The suit was brought by Jamal Jeffers, a gay man from the Caribbean nation, and a nonprofit organization called St. Kitts and Nevis Alliance for Equality. Burglary laws remain on the books in a number of Caribbean nations, including Jamaica and Barbados. The Turks and Caicos are looking to mirror Jamaica's labor department so young and qualified people can find jobs they're seeking on the islands. Our Deandra Hamilton explains more.
In order to ensure that young, qualified college and university graduates are getting the jobs that companies in the Turks and Caicos Islands are advertising, the Department of Labor is considering mirroring Jamaica's Labor Department information system to create its own for the Turks and Caicos.
And we have realized that Jamaica has a very advanced labor market information system that is well developed to support the placement of their citizens into the world of work.
That was Minister of Education Rachel Taylor. She was speaking at a recent press conference on a travel update to Jamaica and Washington, D.C. Taylor said Jamaica's labor market system would help the Turks and Caicos to rectify one of the greatest complaints being made by the country's private sector.
All persons registered in the system have a unique profile that highlights all of their skills and abilities, and this will help us here in the Turks and Caicos Islands because it is the greatest complaint from our private sector. Once we can facilitate the registration of all our citizens, most especially the unemployed, the private sector and public sector partners will be able to see all individuals seeking employment through the labor market information system.
The labor market system will cost the Turks and Caicos Islands government around $300,000. Minister Taylor noted that the system would help the government to ensure that islanders benefit from the country's growth.
The government of the TCI is being intentional in ensuring that TCI, Turks and Caicos Islanders, are afforded the opportunity to be placed in key senior positions so that the Turks and Caicos Islanders can truly benefit from the growth and development of this country.
Deandra Hamilton reporting.
Meantime, in Puerto Rico, the Department of Agriculture requested an increase of $1 per pound of coffee. The Secretary of Agriculture confirmed that an increase in the price of pound of coffee in Puerto Rico could soon be reflected. He indicated that his agency made the request to the Department of Consumer Affairs, which is in charge of reviewing the price. A committee will evaluate the petition to determine if it is approved. Now, this could result in an increase of $1 to the pound of coffee. The coffee industry in Puerto Rico was already facing problems due to a lack of labor and has suffered a severe blow with the passage of Hurricane Maria. It wiped out practically the entire 2017 harvest and severely affected the island's farms. 5 years later, it has not fully recovered and depends largely on importing the product. This possible increase could mean an increase in the price of 15% of the current price of coffee. And today is International Overdose Awareness Day. It is observed every year on August the 31st. The goal is to reduce drug overdose-related deaths and fight the stigma associated with overdoses. This day is meant to raise awareness and educate people about overdose prevention. Symptoms of an overdose include convulsions, vomiting, confusion, and skin that is either cool and sweaty or hot and dry. Royal Caribbean is putting SpaceX's Starlink internet service on its cruise ships. The cruise liner, which also operates Celebrity Cruises and Silver Sea Cruises, says the service will make the internet experience at sea faster and more reliable. It did a test run of the service on one of its ships over the summer. It's set to officially launch on September 5th on the Celebrity Beyond. The company expects to have the service fully deployed across its fleet by the first quarter of 2023. SpaceX's boat-focused internet service debuted earlier this summer. 25 years ago today, Britain's Princess Diana died in a Paris car crash. Her death and her life remain the source of fascination to people all around the world. CBS's Ian Lean reports today from London.
Good evening. Britain lost a princess today.
The world stood still. In the early morning hours of August 31st, 1997, Princess Diana died in a Paris car crash after being chased by the paparazzi. Shock quickly gave way to an outpouring of grief still felt today.
I just couldn't believe it. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I just couldn't believe that she'd died.
Diana was just 36, and more than a royal, she became a force for good, using her famous name to support causes like AIDS awareness and the clearing of landmines.
Diana's unique qualities were very much a humanitarian mission, a tactile nature, a care and consideration for others.
Princess Diana lived here at Kensington Palace, a place where people still come to remember her 25 years later.
When I see the pictures and something in TV, it makes me sad.
In recent years, Hollywood has introduced a new generation to the People's Princess, with the Netflix hit series The Crown to the latest movie depicting her life, one full of helping others. A quarter of a century after her death, Diana's sons, William and Harry, are still following in her footsteps.
I hope we can remember my mother's legacy by recommitting to those that we serve, whoever and wherever they may be.
Sharing their mother's spirit to keep her memory alive. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.